Hello everyone and welcome to May's Patreon monthly special. That is May's this time, not April's, not June's. It's definitely May's this time.
Stig, it's
Jones.
It's Jones.
It's definitely May.
It's gotta be May.
May. As you've heard, I am Stig and I am here with the other boys of the Modern Escapism crew. I have Oodles,
Boys.
Gadget,
No girls allowed.
and Biggie.
Yeah, baby.
No Candy this month because she thinks that being ill means that she can be off the pod. You'd never see me and Noodles do that.
Ever.
We'd never do
You're
that.
You're only
ever.
allowed off the pod if you want to go out on the piss.
Yeah, if you've put in a pre-requisition form and run it through HR.
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, Candy's not feeling very well, so she is missing tonight's recording. And this month we are going to do another rankings. So if you remember, about a year ago,
It is about a year, near enough.
Yeah, we did an MCU ranking. We took all the MCU films that were out today and we put them into our top 10 lists and we scored them and we came up with our ultimate top 10 MCU
And we're going to do a
ranking.
DC one now.
Anyone got any ideas?
No. Dark Knight wins.
Funny how since then the last 12 months of MCU films we're not going to bother that top 10 that
No.
we put out.
No.
Well, maybe Guardians.
Guardians 3 and Spider-Man might
Yeah, by all accounts,
Might-
yeah.
I know, but then my joke doesn't work, so just
Come on, comedy first. Facts second.
Yeah, it's shit. So this time round, we're going to do something that we've all done because everyone on this podcast has played and owned PlayStations for the last 30 odd years.
Shh, don't say that. Because it's true, but don't say that.
I'm gonna cry.
So we're going to do PlayStation exclusives this time round, but I had to narrow this down because if we'd opened it up to the whole, whatever it is, nearly 30 years of PlayStation, the list would have just been massive and it'd have been so, it just wouldn't have worked. So I had to set some rules. The rules were it has to be in the last 15 years.
Yep.
So predominantly it's going to be the back end of the PS3, PS4 and PS5.
Vita.
Yeah, Vita could be on there. No one chose a Vita game though.
I did.
Oh, yes, you did actually. I nearly did. It was in my list of
Yeah.
potentials, but
I've got
I didn't put it in
Vita
there.
games in my top 20.
Yeah, mine too. And also if it was a timed exclusive, it didn't count. So
Yep.
unfortunately, I had to kick Stray out.
Yep.
Candy put Stray in there, and unfortunately, I had to kick it out. And I did allow anything that was originally a PlayStation exclusive, but years down the line just ended up on another system, but originally was meant to only be for PlayStation.
If it said
So
on
I
the
did-
box, only for PlayStation.
yes, I did allow that. So I know
And
that we
PC.
did have.
And PC.
Yeah, so we did have a few things that have gone onto Xbox and
Yeah,
PC
eventually.
since. Before we get into our top 10, I'm going to go down the ones that didn't quite make it.
Oh, yeah.
So at 17, we had Nier Automata or Automata, depending on however you
I don't think anyone's
Automata.
ever pronounced that correctly. I don't even know the correct pronunciation.
Well,
Don't
that's
even
why
ask me.
that's why I got it wrong, because I've heard people say it both ways.
Automata?
I'd say
Automata.
automata, but yeah.
It's Latin,
So-
I think.
Yeah,
It's
so,
Latin.
Yeah, it means automated.
Automated, yeah. Makes sense.
drawing at 17 as well. We also had Hyperdimensions Neptunia producing perfection.
That was mine.
You fucking dig it. You just put that in to make him say it, didn't you?
Yeah. No, it's genuinely a good little PS Vita RPG. Weeby as fuck. It's the one that I've told you about where you're playing personifications of the Xbox, the PlayStation, the Nintendo.
I know.
It's so fucking good. It's so good, but it's just lost to time, unfortunately. I love that game.
There's a new one coming out soon.
I know, and I can't wait. But it's going to be 70 quid. They're always 70 quid, them fucking games.
They never got down either, do they?
No, ever.
16, Final Fantasy 12, The Zodiac Ages.
Shame, innit? Shame that.
15, Returnal.
Ooh.
At 14, we had Ghost of Tsushima and Horizon Forbidden West.
Oof.
See, I remember Candy saying she didn't like Forbidden West, but somehow it snuck into her top 10.
No, I remember. I think I recall her saying that she liked it, but she did what I did, and you get a bit bored, and then you just rush through it, and then you get a good payoff on that game. The sequel, on the other hand, starts strong, and just teeters off.
Well,
into-
no, it's just
That is the
For-
sequel.
Oh, is
Forbidden
it?
West is the sequel.
Yeah.
Zero
Oh,
Dawn is the
that's-
first one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it starts off really strong, and then it ends up into this cocaine haze by the end of it. The fuck! If you don't know the plot to the ending of it, I'm not going to spoil it. It is in fucking sane. Like these guys at Guerrilla were just like, "Do you want some of that? Yeah, let's have some of that." Just fucking doing rails on fucking desks, mate. That is a fucking insane game.
The first game was a bit cooked up as well.
Oh, mate, the second one, mate. If you're not going to play it, just read a little synopsis of that fucking story. It's insane. It's insane.
Coming in
Mental.
at 13, we have Killzone 2.
Don't even belong to be there, mate. Fucking hell. Is Killzone 2 from 15 years ago?
2009.
2008.
I think it's 2008, 2009, something like that. Yeah, it's
Bloody hell.
just snuck in there. We have also drawing with that at 13 was Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Not my
Fair.
favourite.
At 12, Astrobot's Playroom.
Forgot about
Or
that.
long-
Forgot about that.
How is that there?
12 was also Horizon Zero Dawn.
Which is better than the second one.
And drawing at 11, we have Gran Turismo 7 and Metal Gear Solid 4.
Ah.
So that was the ones that didn't make it. Now on to the top 10. And top 10 we're going to go through. I'm going to talk about game, what we loved it, about these games and everything. We're not just going to blast through it like that. Number 10 was, this was only me that put this on, because I think I'm the only one that played it. Candy's played a little bit of it, but not enough for it to budge her top 10. Astrobot's Rescue Mission VR.
Okay, so I like Playroom a lot. I thought Playroom were one of my favourite like demos and proof of concepts I've played in years. What's the VR version like?
So this came out in 2018. This was our first introduction to Astrobot. This is number 5 on my list.
Wow.
It's just, imagine Astrobot, but just that, what you loved about the Playroom,
Yeah.
but just taken to another dimension. I
Mm.
don't know what it is about this game, but in VR, it just works so much better on so many levels. You can just sit and you don't have to, you don't have to jump around or move around quickly. You can
No.
relax and just sit down and play this. You've got the cute little Astrobot in front of you, and you can wave
I
at
love
him.
him. I genuinely
and
love
waves-
him.
He waves back at you, and just looking around that world and trying to look at ways to get Astrobot to, okay, right, I need platform up there. How do I do that? You can have a little look round, and then you have other things in there where Astrobot, you like throw a ball to you, and you've got to head it, and you head the ball to like to open stuff, and you've got to dodge things when you're on the.
And you being an absolute athlete was so good at that, yeah?
Oh yeah, obviously. When
Yeah.
when you're on like the roller coaster bits, like minecart bits and stuff, you got to dodge things and move things around. And I just thought that it was just such a great experience, and like so much replayability as well with it.
That's what I like about Astrobot and how he's their new mascot now, because they make great games for him. And he's a great boy. I love him. I actually think he's like a son to me.
You say that, but have they used him as a mascot though? Because
Yeah, they've been using him on posters and everything. He's on the box.
really,
A little
They do need
bit,
to do
yeah,
more
but they
with
do
him.
need to do more and they need to do they need to do a PSVR 2 game with him. If
Yeah.
they'd have announced an Astrobot PS2 VR 2
VR.
game last night, that would have got a lot of buzz.
Yeah.
More than any of the other games that they showed on the
'Cause
VR
people
thing
love
for
him.
that showcase. Yeah,
Mm.
it's just really, really good. And unfortunately, obviously, it's a PlayStation exclusive, so you never get to try this on the PC unless there's dodgy ways of doing it.
If only.
It's also effectively a PS4 exclusive. You can't play it on the PS5 because you need.
No, you
Well,
can't.
there you go.
Unless you
It's
have a
even,
headset.
that's even worse. You can't. Look, it's even worse. You cannot play this game on a PS5.
It's like
because-
Yeah.
Metal Gear Solid
It's-
4. It's locked to that time, isn't it?
Yeah, it's easily in the top 3 VR games that I've played with
Wow.
Beat Saber and Alex. Like, it is that good.
Yeah,
It's
Beat Saber's the
absolutely
best VR
astonishing.
game I've ever played, by far.
Yeah. What is it on Metacritic? So this got a 90%
Wow.
Metacritic.
Wow.
For a VR game as well.
Yeah.
Wow.
and that's without all the love for the PlayStation like the other one did.
Mm.
It doesn't go into as much as that. There are little things here and there, but Playroom was kind of a love letter, wasn't it, to PlayStation?
Yeah.
I love
Whereas this
Playroom.
is-
I played it a
this
few
is
times, mate.
Yeah, it's its own little game. Really, like doesn't kind of rely too much on the PlayStation nostalgia.
Okay.
But yeah, if you have a PS4 and you have a VR headset and you've never played this, get it played because yeah, it's fantastic.
My mate's got a PSVR, the original one, and a PS4. I might see if he's got it and have a little blast.
Genuinely, if you said, "Can I borrow it for a weekend?" Went and
Yeah,
bought a cheap copy, blasted it through it in the weekend. You'd love it.
Yeah,
It's so good.
I think I would.
I remember the guys on TCGS going mad for it when it came out.
Yeah, they do love a bit of VR and all, don't they, them guys?
Yeah,
They're
but
not
it's so
afraid
easy
of
to
VR.
like you look at Astrobot. It's so easy to kind of just dismiss as though it looks like a kids game.
I love
But
it.
it's just it's the mechanics they put into that VR game. Just it's so
I like
much fun.
robots, and he's the Robo Boy.
Yeah, the music's incredible as well in it.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
Well done. It made the top 10, didn't it?
Yes, made the top 10 because it was quite high on my list.
Yeah, it makes sense. Makes sense.
Right, number 9 is a joint venture.
Oh.
2 games that I have not played.
Ooh,
We have Journey,
Okay.
which was
that's Candies.
Candies. Yeah, so that was quite high on Candies. That was her number 3.
Was it PS3 game, that one?
Yeah, but it's been on everything.
It got re-released, didn't it? Yeah, that counts. Then.
Yeah, it'd be fine. And Days Gone.
Yes, it got there. Yes.
Yes.
Brilliant.
So
Because that was high up on mine, wasn't it, Days Gone?
yes, so Days Gone was your number 3 as well. That came out in
Yeah.
2019. And
Love it.
Journey. No, I don't want Journey the band. I want Journey the game.
Oh, come
Just
on,
a
don't
small
stop
time
believing.
game.
So my internet's just decided to go terrible. But
Fiber optic, baby.
anyway, yeah. So who?
I can tell you briefly about Journey because I've not finished Journey, even though it's 2 hours long.
Oh wow, you should finish that.
I never did. What I did get from Journey was I liked how it looked.
2012 it was released. Sorry, so it's fine. It's within the
Yeah.
15 years.
I like how it looked. I played it on PS3 and I wasn't a big PS3 fan in general. I didn't like the console that much. I didn't like playing it that much. But when I got the PS3, it was like the last few months of its life, so I was playing all the other ones to catch up. So I just didn't give it the time of day. I've technically still got it because it's on my PS5 library. I might play it again, but
You should finish.
I remember people like proper saying it's like groundbreaking and stuff like that, and I just didn't get that from it. What's your thoughts on it?
I don't get the groundbreaking thing with it, but I put it in that same bracket as Gris.
Really?
Yes.
In that it's just kind of beautiful experiential game.
Cerebral.
No, it's not cerebral at all. You're not thinking about anything doing it. You're just experiencing this world that you're moving through. I guess Gris has more quote unquote gameplay to it because that's got the puzzles and such what. But it's still that kind of artistic journey through a landscape kind of thing.
Pun intended.
I think Gris was more thought provoking. The thing about Journey,
Well, yeah, Gris
a lot of
Gris is
people
a clearer story.
interpreted Gris in different ways, but I think with Journey, the thing about that was that for most of it, you're playing it by yourself. But then you come across somebody that's completely random. You end up being in the same game, and you can't at the beginning do an awful
Are
lot.
they a
together.
real
You can
person then? Playing at the same time?
Yeah.
And
I never got
It's
that.
just completely random, and you're just floating around the same play area. There's only 2 of you.
I
And
bet there
you
won't be
can sort
many
of-
now playing it though, would they? If I booted it up now, I
Probably
probably
not.
wouldn't meet anyone.
But you basically can communicate by. I'm trying to remember, like making
It's like
your
pings, innit? Ping.
pings and your cape do a certain movement
Yeah.
and in a way of like sort of communicating, but that's about it. And it's not until later in the game where I don't know if this works solo or they force you to play with somebody, but there's a bit where you have to kind of work together to get through a certain stage, and it's really cool.
Okay.
And the ending's really interesting. But I thought it was just a different experience to like football games, shooting, whatever. It was just completely out
Stuff
there.
that you're into, yeah?
No, I'm just using that as an example.
Well, don't spoil the ending because I've just bought it on Steam.
Yeah, don't spoil it.
It's Steam Tech verified, so I'm going to play it on that.
I'll play it. I'll play it.
It's basically big games as artwork energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good. It's lovely. The soundtrack is beautiful as well.
Yeah.
It feels like it would be perfect on my Steam Deck, sat in bed with some headphones on,
Oh, it's chill as fuck.
I was wrong about Half-Life 2, so I'll play this.
And also just with the announcement of like Sword of the Sea last night,
which looks
I'm very
awesome
excited for that. Yeah. Same principle.
That was Journey Pro Skater though, that weren't it? That was Journey Pro Skater.
Yeah, basically.
We should have said it off the top of this. We're recording this the day after the Sony showcase, so it kind of fit in well. We already had this planned before Sony showcase, so it worked pretty well, didn't it?
On the contrary, on the flip side, Days Gone. Days Gone was one of my biggest surprises of the PS4 generation. So remember the trailers we got, and there was little to no hype. People were like, "Oh, the hordes look cool. That can't be what the game ends up like." And you know what? It wasn't what the game ended up like. So, what Days Gone is, it's Sam Witwer, who I adore, of Darth Maul fame, just absolutely, in the whole cast, just doing what I didn't expect this game to be, just a really great story of early post-apocalypse. Do you know, before the world actually sets on fire? It's just a zombie apocalypse is happening, but there's still like there's still life. Do you get what I mean? It's slowly the world's ending, and it's about some bikers and how to keep sane. The main character, Deacon St. John, and his best mate, Boozer, they're still pretending that they're in this biker gang. You know what I mean? And they explain that they still wear the cut, do you know, the biker clothes and stuff, to keep a bit of semblance of their humanity where they were before it all kicked off. He lost his wife at the beginning of the game. In his head, he's still saying she's still out there. Everyone's saying she's not still out there. It's just a really good cerebral story. Then it flips it on its head. You think you're at the end of the game. No, you're halfway through. You then go. It's because the Days Gone plays into it. So every so often, another couple of days go by, and by the end, you're like 762 days gone, and the world's ending slowly and slowly. There's less greenery. You go to different parts of the map. There's militias starting. There's cannibals. There's all sorts of crazy shit. I'm not going to spoil too much of it, but it just ends up being just a great story. And the fact that, do you know what's good about certain games where you've got a good horse and you love your horse? Imagine it being a motorbike. You love your motorbike. It's your only form of transport in this game, because gas is scarce and all stuff like that. It's just fantastic. Like when it first came out, it was a bit buggy, but it's Sony Ben's first AAA, wasn't it? And then they fixed the fuck out of it. And then once you've near enough at the end of the game, the stuff that they showed you in that trailer with the hordes, that kicks in. There's more zombies now than the hordes, and then you've got a full. It's not like an end game, but it's still part of the plot. But you've got to clear out the hordes, and if you've never faced 10,000 or whatever 1,000 zombies in your face with a machine gun, you haven't lived. Because those moments, if you ever see any clips of them, they're not scripted. You can do what you want to try and destroy this hordes, and the only way to destroy the hordes is literally kill them. There's no like easy way to do it. You just got to shout, come on, follow me. Lure them into like a funnel, and just blast them. Then shit, I'm out of ammo. Run, and then they're just going because the runners, they're not slow zombies, they're runners, and it's just frantic and fantastic, and it's just a great game. And the bike controls are fantastic. It's just I adore it, and people just sleep on it completely because they're like, ooh. It's a 40-hour game. You know what I mean? It's a long game.
Didn't it get panned or something, either by critics or fans?
No, I think
then it became like an underrated game. But I just remember it when it first came out.
It reviewed badly because it was buggy as all
hell. It was so buggy.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got on your bike and you drove off without your bike. That kind of thing.
I mean, that's always hilarious.
It was just bad. And then they're just like, even Sony Bend were like, stop playing it for a month. We're going to fix it. And they did.
And then the game director came out and started complaining that woke fans didn't get it.
They didn't get it.
Because apparently we should all enjoy the toxicity of Deacon St. John, who wasn't actually that toxic a character.
No, he grew. He started off quite horrible, and then he grew into this leader, and he was really good. And Sam Witwer, it's one of his best performances. He's brilliant.
Yeah, he's very good in it.
Yeah, but it's just a fantastic game that people miss out on. And if you play it on PS5, it's all upscaled and everything. So it's really worth playing.
So it's got its Metacritic is only 71, but the user score is 8.4 out of 10.
Yeah,
so
it's been fixed. It's been fixed.
Yeah,
Again,
exactly.
play it on PS5. It's sensational. Really
yeah,
good.
it like once it was fixed, it is like an 8.5 game.
Yeah.
Like it's a good game.
But I've got it for thingy.
PC.
Yeah, PC, because I got those really, really cheap code. The Oodles had talked about it on something.
Yeah.
And it was one of those ones like, oh, it's Steam Deck verified, and it's look, it was like
Steam Deck verified.
Yeah, it was like £3 in like an online code. I was like,
it's
get
cheap.
that.
It's so cheap, and you can mod it on PC, so you can have like Thomas the Tank Engines chasing you, like 1,000 Thomas the Tank Engines. You know what I mean? That's the dream, isn't it? It's the dream.
Hearing,
yeah, it's the dream. Someone modded it. Someone modded it. I watched a mod of it where they made it. I think one of the hards is 8,000 zombies, the big one. And they did it. They're all Mr. X from Resident Evil 2, just running at you. Imagine that. Yeah, exactly. And all you've got is like a Chicago typewriter machine gun. Blah, 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 blah. Mr. X is like, blah, 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 blah. It's just such a good game. People missed out. Play it.
Excellent. It is on my playlist to do at some point.
Yeah, you'll love it, because it's emotional as fuck, and it's covered in tattoos like you, Stig. So you'll.
Oh, well, it's a plus. And I like motorbikes.
Exactly, mate. Oh, the motorbike. That's the best mechanic in it. You've got to build up your bike because you can't go to certain places because you'll just get overrun. Your bike's not fast enough, so you've got to get it better. You've got to do jobs to get your bike better. So cool.
Yeah,
and you can have a Death Stranding bike as well. Just to let you know.
Right. So number 8. Now this is interesting.
Oh.
2 at number 8 that scored 9 points each. We have Spider-Man and Spider-Man Miles Morales
On together. we liked them equally.
Yeah.
I didn't have any Spider-Man on my list.
So I had Miles Morales on my list.
Yeah. So I had both. I had Spider-Man at 10 and Miles Morales at 8. And
Miles Morales is my number 11 in my top 20.
Biggie had Spider-Man at number 4, and Gadget had Miles Morales at number 5.
I'll tell you now, right? Miles Morales pisses all over the first Spider-Man.
Number 6, sorry.
Pisses all over.
Yeah, I think I prefer Miles Morales over Spider-Man. So like if I was in a top 20, Spider-Man would be like 15 for me.
Yeah.
I think it's not because Spider-Man is a bad game or there's anything actually physically wrong with Spider-Man.
No.
Other than MJ sections.
Apart from the MJ sections and actually the Miles Morales sections.
What about the bit in Spider-Man
powers?
About the bit in Spider-Man 1 when the whole ground is toxic, so you've got to just stay on the roofs?
Oh yeah, that was a bit shit.
Awful.
I preferred Miles Morales 1 because I think it's a tighter, punchier campaign. Whereas I think the Spider-Man one, it does start to drag by the end, mostly because if you want to get like the really advanced suits and the really advanced weapons and stuff, you've got to do so much side shit. Whereas with it being with Morales being a shorter game, it's easy to get your power level up quickly and get to a point where you're doing all the crazy shit without a great deal of work. But I also like this interpretation of Miles better than this interpretation of Peter.
Same.
I think he's a cooler character. I think he's got a bit more heart because Yuri Lowenthal does a great job as Peter, but the Peter we play has been around the block a little bit. He's not new to Spider-Man, whereas I quite like this as a quasi origin story. It's not Miles isn't brand new, but he's still learning the.
Do you know what I really like in Miles Morales? And it's a nod to one of the Spider-Man books where he goes, "Yeah, Miles, you're looking after it. I'm off on holiday." It's one of the most famous things ever because when Spider-Man goes on holiday, New York goes to shit.
It does.
It goes to shit.
I think the other thing as well with the campaign, I quite like the escalation of the campaign.
I do.
You go from just like solving robberies or helping the dude in the corner shop find his cat and stuff like that.
Yeah.
To like being involved in like open warfare between Roxxon and the
underground,
the underground and the Tinkerers faction, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like the escalation is great, and I love the ending. Like
so emotional.
It's a really big emotional payoff, but like also a visual spectacle.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
Boss. Yeah, like I didn't much like the final boss battle in Spider-Man. It was fine.
Yeah, it was ripping off the Spider-Man 2 film, wasn't it?
Yeah. And whereas I don't think the Tinkerer was as good a baddie as Doc Ock, I much preferred the fight. I much preferred the fight with the Tinkerer. So
yeah,
it's like it's kind of like it's all on balance, really. I think Miles Morales was serviced by being a little bit shorter and tighter and having
less rucksacks to find.
Oh, fucking rucksacks!
Didn't
If you want to platinum that game, it's so hard.
Yeah. See, I still loved like Spider-Man. Like I say, it's still in my top 10. I just think like what you said is that Miles Morales was just a tighter game and just kind of got rid of some of the shit. Isn't that like one of the things to get level up points where you have to like sort out some toxic vents and shit for
for Doctor
what's his name? No. God, I can't just think of James Franco, but it's not. It's a character he plays.
Harry Osborn.
Harry Osborn. That's it.
Oh yeah, you do.
The science blocks. Yeah,
yeah, just stuff like that. It's just padded out.
Busy work, innit? There's no need in it.
Or the catching pigeons.
Catching pigeons and stuff.
Yeah.
But the fight scenes and the way it looked, and this was before Miles Morales came out, and exploring that section of New York and swinging around, and I spent so much time in photo mode, and I barely use photo mode for games, but that running up Avengers Tower and sitting on the top of it and stuff. That was incredible.
I will say with Spider-Man, I love the sequence where you've got the five big bads chasing you around, and it's like that really big fight scene in the docks.
Yeah.
Where you've got like Electro and you've got Lizard, and it's all that. It's before like Doc Ock kind of comes into it proper.
It's
like,
good.
I love that. I love that whole sequence. That sequence is brilliant.
Well, I just I don't know much about Miles Morales until the movie came out, so I've always been a Spider-Man fan. So for me, it's probably the best computer game interpretation of Spider-Man. The fact that they nailed the swinging so well.
What about Spider-Man 2 on the PS2?
There have been others, but I just think as a sort of you really feeling like you're Spider-Man swinging through the city in this game was just fantastic. And when you have the automated things, like when you're swinging, you let go of the web, and then there's like a half pipe, and you fly through it, and he twists as he comes out and catches the next web. And there was just so many little things like that. I spent so much time just playing in the playground of the city, just swinging around doing stuff, and the little Easter eggs, and just seeing Spider-Man fight in a way like Spider-Man. I know it got a bit silly with all the gadgets, but at the end of the day, a lot of it nailed the character of Spider-Man. Yeah, Peter Parker isn't the greatest, but yeah, I haven't played Miles Morales. I've got it. I haven't got around to it. But I platinumed Spider-Man.
You'll love it.
Yeah, I platinumed Spider-Man. I did everything in that game, so I needed a break from it. I will go back to it.
It's a really solid 12-hour campaign as opposed to a 24-hour
you can platinum Miles Morales in about 15 hours, mate.
And it's like Spider-Man was one of those games where I think I only used fast travel about 3 times, and that was because
I never used
it was only because the mission was right. You've done it. Go back home, and it was the other end of the map. And I was like, okay, I want to just get.
It was funny to see him on the tube.
Yeah, but exactly that was.
You had to do it at least once. But I think Arkham Asylum nailed Batman, and I think this nailed Spider-Man. That's why it scored so high for me.
Yeah, and I think the new one looks awesome.
Oh my god! I've watched that trailer about 5 times. It looks insane. It looks fucking insane. That's going to be the one. Fuck it. Have both of them, guys. Have both of them. Oh,
he's got big teeth. So do I.
Oh, he's not used to like that. No, he's not.
No.
Yeah. Oh, can't wait.
Right, in at number 7 with 12 points each is Uncharted 4 and God of War Ragnarok.
I didn't put God of War in at all.
No, you didn't.
Oh.
I put the original. I put God of War 2018 or not.
Yeah, I did too.
So I have Uncharted 4 in at 9 and Ragnarok in at 7. And Candy had Ragnarok in at 4.
Mm-hmm.
And Uncharted 4 was at number 5 for Biggie, and
number 8 for me.
Yes, oh yeah, and you're at number 8.
Yeah, I'll jump on Uncharted 4. It's the best Uncharted game.
Yes.
Simple. It's that simple. It's the culmination. You have to play the others to get it, to get the characters and the story and stuff. It's the culmination, I think, of how Naughty Dog can do romps. It's not too serious. It's not too verbose. It has its moments, but it's the game where you are a man who murders men, but you can still have fun about it. You can still have fun about it. You get what I mean? It's got that
the jolliest mass murderer.
What's that? Narrative dissonance, or whatever it's called. What's that called?
Ludonarrative dissonance.
Yeah, it's got that in spades, mate. Because he doesn't even chat about the fact he's murdered thousands of people.
They're all bad guys. It's fine.
Yeah, but another man's bad guy is just someone that works for a security company. Do you know what I mean? But the opening
scenes, isn't there? With
exactly. The opening scenes where you're in the prison is spellbinding. What a moment! You didn't know what's happening and everything. The introduction of Sam, a fucking fantastic character who, all the way through, you're like, do I trust? Do I trust? Do I trust?
Yeah,
I'm not going to reveal anything, but it subverts expectations. I thought I knew where the plot was going, and it didn't. And I just think it's stunning to look at, especially I've got the remastered version on PS5 with the DLC. Oh, sorry, I've got cramp in my leg. It's just kicked in. Oh God! Ooh, God! Old age. Sorry, yeah. Oh, fucking yeah! You hate when that happens. Fucking hell! I need to stop crossing my legs. I'm not young anymore. But yeah, it's just really. You can keep that in. It's just really good.
Oh well.
It's just. I think it's fun, and the actual ending, the epilogue ending, had me a little bit. I was crying a little bit. I was happy crying. I was like, yeah, and it's got a lot of chat about like how marriages can break up and not break up, and real life aspects to it. And I just think it's fun. That gunplay's not that brilliant. The puzzles are fantastic. Sometimes a bit obtuse.
Did they take out the danger from climbing from this? It just made it really easy to climb. You didn't feel like there was any peril.
Because they wanted you to feel fun. They wanted you to play it and enjoy it. Like, I don't know if you played the PS Vita one. That was so difficult because of all the touching.
Didn't like it.
I liked it, but and you can play this game. Like, there's some options in this game where it's like whichever Uncharted game you played, you can pick the option about what you remember about Nathan's life, and even the mundane bits where you're working for a fucking company that digs up fucking old ships and stuff. It's just good. And the scene when you get to play Crash Bandicoot in it.
I was going to say, plus you can sit and play the whole Crash Bandicoot if you want. It's Naughty Dog like having fun. It's not the other Naughty Dog that we're probably going to talk about on this episode. It's the different side of Naughty Dog, the fun Naughty Dog. And they are masters of that narrative and that gameplay. And the bit when you get that Jeep and you're going around Madagascar. Oh, the Jeep set piece.
Come on.
The set piece in Uncharted have always been just...
Yeah, the train's really good in 2, but I think this is just better.
See, I didn't know whether I could have used... I decided not to put in the remastered trilogy, because that technically did come out, but...
It did?
Yeah, but I decided not to put that into my top 10, even though I think it's fantastic. I don't know, there was something about it just being a remaster. It was just those games plonked onto us.
What I do like about it as well, what's his voice actor called again? Nathan Drake's voice actor, Nolan North. That's his best moves. That's his best moments, because he puts a lot of like. He's got older, and he plays that older, and he's more broken as a man, and it's just fucking hell. And he gets his real life brother, doesn't he, to come and play his brother? What's his name? The blonde haired guy. Troy Baker, who is more or less his fucking brother, because they love each other, don't they? And it's just great, man. It's just a great game. I love playing it. I play it like once a year. I think it's fucking brilliant.
Yeah, it is amazing. That came out in 2016 on the PS4.
That blows my mind that came out the year my daughter was born, and now she's fucking wearing makeup and talking about boys.
Same.
Blows my fucking mind. Oh God, it's such a good
So they've
game.
said as well that they're done. Uncharted 4 was one of our one of our best-selling games, and we're able to put our final brushstroke on that story and say that we're done, we're moving on. And that was in February this year as well. They said that
they don't need to do any more. That is done. No. That tail is the ribbon is tied.
Yeah, I think it runs the risk of not being needed, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, it doesn't need it. The story itself is perfectly capped off, and I just think as a company they don't want to get into that kind of like Bethesda are with, we're only tied down to 2 franchises. It's kind of, when's the next Fallout coming out? When's the next Elder Scrolls?
Because they're not as big as like Rockstar can rely on GTA because it's the biggest gaming franchise ever.
I
they
think
can rely on that.
I think it is time for them to find something new and create a new franchise.
Yeah, I do. A new IP,
So,
yeah.
Yeah, a new IP, yeah.
Yeah.
God of War Ragnarok then. So it's only me and on Candy put this in our top 10. I will say that I do think God of War 2018 is better.
It's tighter.
Because of that. Because it's tighter and it's kind of more... Yeah, there's not as much going on. But I just think that Ragnarok's incredible. I think it looks absolutely amazing. It takes on all the combat from the first one and just it slightly improves on it. It gives you a new weapon. The spear is great. I use that spear so much when I got it. At first I was thinking, spear, but like after a while, like you unlock certain things.
If you want to kill the super bosses in that game, you need a fully tricked out spear, mate.
Yeah,
100%.
And being able to rapid fire as well help from a distance.
Yes, yeah, I really like that. I just think that I like the story and the characters. I thought that Odin and Thor were really good characters, especially kind of the relationship that they had between Odin and Thor. And also Heimdall was one of my most satisfying kills of all time.
Yep.
I'm killing him and just being all like, yeah, fuck off, you bastard, at the TV. Like, I took a lot of pleasure in killing him.
Yeah, he was an awful creature.
Yeah.
Do you know the reason why it's not on my top 10? Because my favorite
ride around on a yak for half an hour.
No.
That did suck.
My favorite features of this game were after the credits rolled, like all the extra stuff, and I've not been able to speak about that with many people because not many people did it. You know what I mean? All the optional bits.
Haven't had the motivation.
There's a massive open world that you don't go to until the end, and no one's done it, and that's my favorite. And I was like,
I did a lot of that before I even rolled the end credits.
Did you? Did you do like mopping shit up?
You can go and do that. Like you can go to the creator before you do the end credits.
Oh right, I thought it was after. It's just how I got.
So when you're in the where Freya people are. In that, like, jungle area.
Alfheim.
Yeah, you can. They say, do you want to go off and explore or just carry on? And if you carry on, you kind of go off, and that is you pushing on to do the end game. But if you go the other way, it opens up.
You can trigger it then.
Yeah, it is a huge area.
It's biggest single map in that game, isn't it?
But what you don't get with it is if you go off with Atreus there, you get different dialogue than you do if you go off
I went with Freya. Yeah, I went with her.
But what it is that I love about this game so much, I love the characters and the story, and it's the storytelling. I love narrative games that really like pull me in.
Yes,
like I absolutely love it, and this just expanded on the lore as well. I love just walking around and them talking about the lore.
Norse mythology is so cool.
Yeah,
as well.
all the North mythology and all like maybe all the kind of stuff they've made up a little bit as well for the game. Yeah. It's all just there, them chatting away and everything. You're never bored, and like I said, it looks stunning. I enjoyed the boss fights, and I just thought it was a really great game. And they kind of haven't set it up for more. Really, they could just kind of call it quits there if they wanted.
Yeah, they could cut it off, couldn't they?
Yeah, it's almost like they had an idea and they thought they could have probably put this into 2 games if they wanted to. They probably could have stretched this to a trilogy. But then just thought, actually, we've condensed it slightly. We can get it in 1 game.
Yeah.
And like I said, while it's not as tight as God of War 2018, I do think it carries on the mantle of that game really well. And I just love my time playing it.
I respect 2018 more. That's my issue.
Yeah.
I like it more.
But it's a game where I actually wanted to go off and explore and do things. Not a lot of games do that.
Because it's meaningful in that game, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of, like we had Spider-Man, there's a lot of shit that is just there literally to upgrade your level. Whereas this sends you off in directions and sends you off to do things, and you learn stuff, and it's interesting because it's based on real stories.
Yeah. It's all Mimir, isn't it? That's all Mimir.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think what let God of War Ragnarok down for me compared to the first one, or fourth one, is just simply that I found the combat got a little bit repetitive by the end, even after getting the spear. Just simply because you get to a certain point in the campaign and your average mob enemies kind of become a bit spongy.
Yes.
Because it's mathematically curving up to keep the power curve the same. But it got to the point where I think it was the 2 chapters in Helheim back to back.
Yeah, that was so odd.
I found those utterly miserable to get through. Story.
But it's dull realm, innit? It's a dull realm.
Yeah, story-wise, it was great stuff. Like, I really enjoyed the drama of what was going on there.
Yeah.
But the actual mechanic of getting through it, I found it a drag, and I almost fell off the game at that point.
Wow.
But it paid off. It paid off in the end when you got the doggy back.
Yeah, I do think I do kind of agree with you regarding the combat on it as well. I struggled with parts of God of War. Some enemies I've struggled with, and I knew I had to come back when I leveled up. With Ragnarok, I got to places where I'm like, well, these guys are technically a level that I can't beat, and yet I still beat them.
Yeah, you just persevere with it.
I just felt that the first one, God of War, the 2018 one, made you go and get yourself a bit more experience and come back and earn it, whereas I didn't think... Yes, I died a fair few times, but I don't think that this challenged you as much as the other one.
That's the other thing as well. Yeah, I started Ragnarok on the hardest difficulty and finished it on the hardest difficulty. It's nowhere near as hard as the first.
Weekend.
No.
Yeah, it's nowhere near as hard as the first.
The only thing that was like super difficult was probably Berserkers.
Yeah,
they were not fun.
Yeah, I didn't do them all.
I got them in the end.
Yeah, I did all the main story things, and then I just thought, I can't be asked the Berserkers. I'm not bothered.
Yeah.
When I got to my third Berserker fight, and it was 2 of them, I was like, nope, we're not doing any more of that.
Even though it's not in my top 10, the last the super boss in Ragnarok's probably one of my favourite bosses of all time.
Yeah.
I think it's
Did you
better than
play
like
Ragnarok,
Artorias.
Biggie?
No, I've got it still to play. I haven't touched it yet. I've been
You
playing
won it as well.
I can see the fucking hammer behind you.
That's all he wanted, just the hammer.
Yeah, it's when the first one came out, it took me ages, about a good year or whatever, to play it. So I'm still playing COD. I'm just well into that at the minute. So when I eventually drop off it,
COD of War.
I enjoy it. I play what I play. It is what it is, but I want it there to play.
You do you,
I
babe.
finished God of War 1, which is why it's higher in my list. I've only picked games that I played as well out the list.
Oh, yeah,
I know
obviously.
there are some.
I should
Oh,
fucking hope so.
Same.
No, but there are a lot of. Some people might say
games
the
I've
new
finished.
one, Ragnarok, might be better than God of War, but I put in the one that I played.
I don't think actually, and I love Ragnarok, but I don't think anyone actually does think it's better. It's very similar
one
to
does.
the Arkham City, Arkham Asylum. Like City is still a brilliant game.
Yes, that's it.
But Arkham Asylum is just so much tighter and just.
I love 2018
I totally agree.
because that subverted my expectations. I thought it was a reboot. It's a sequel. And it blew my mind that it's a sequel. I was like, holy fuck, everything that happened to Kratos happened to Kratos. Because I've played every single God of War game to completion. Even
Anyway,
the PSP
don't get ahead
ones.
of yourself.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't done all the PSP ones, but I love the
you
originals.
should.
And it took. That was the other problem. It took me a little while to get used to the new
Control
camera
scheme.
and control, and I dropped in and out of God of War a couple of times, and then when I finally invested my time, I just got it. It clicked, and I was like, "Oh, I'm fully invested."
Yeah. Anyway, we'll move on because spoiler alert, that God of War's coming up. Shadow of the Colossus
Yes.
at number 6 with 13 points. A game I haven't played, so you guys can talk about. This was 9 on Oodles' list. It was 6 on Biggie's list and 5 on Gadget's list.
Fucking love this game so much. So
Stunning.
I'm a big Team Eco fan. I loved Eco and
Every single game they've done.
When they're out on PS2.
I like Last Guardian as well. I'll say it.
Last Guardian's not bad, but the fucking Cat Weagle thing pissed me off by the end of it.
Trico.
Nice payoff in the end. But when Blue Point remade Shadow of the Colossus for PS4, my god, they transformed it. See, what a lot of people forgot about the PS2 version was it came out very late in the generation. It was 2005 that game came out. And the ambition outstretched the abilities.
It really did. It really did.
It had constant frame rate issues. It had muddy, kind of washed out.
It was
graphics.
grain the game, wasn't it?
It was great in the game. The controls made fuck all sense.
Yeah.
Oh, let's use triangle to slash me sword. Triangle, fucking triangle.
Yeah, never got
What's
that.
wrong with you?
Never understood it.
That's a Nintendo style control system. That.
Yeah.
It's worse. It was terrible for that.
So Blue Point took over the reins. They took the original assets and they rebuilt it from the ground up, and they made this lush, beautiful, expansive game. One thing that was notable about it on the PS2 was that there weren't any loading screens. Once you loaded into the game, you were just free to roam. This large, empty, desolate world. And that was an impressive thing for the time. And with having the PS4 technology, they made it. You had draw distances. Like you could go to high points and see the
to the
entire
end of the world.
game map.
Yes.
Yeah. The boss fights are spectacular. Like if you haven't played Shadow of the Colossus, the whole thing is you go to this distant land. Your girlfriend is dead. And you go into to see if you can get a spell cast that can bring her back to life.
Yep.
And this ghostly voice says, slay these 16 colossi and I can resurrect your girlfriend.
Yep.
So you go off and you slay these 16 colossi. And it's when you find the first one's not hard. You climb up it, you stab its head.
He's a big teddy bear.
He's a big teddy bear. But you don't appreciate the scale of it until you get close to it. Like you see it from the distance and it looks big. And then when you get to it, you realize Wanda doesn't even come up to like the first level of fur.
He's not even a tall man, is he?
No, he's a little emo boy.
Yeah.
And then you get some really epic fights. You get the kind of the giant kind of rhino looking one. There's the flying ones, the underwater snake,
The desert.
Oh, the
bird.
The desert ones that. The fucking bird. I hated the bird. But it builds up to one of the saddest endings of any game I've ever played.
Don't spoil it.
I'm not going to spoil it for people.
So
no,
sad.
But it's sad and it's heartbreaking and poignant and
The music.
Lots of hints that it might. The music is incredible. Lots of hints that it might actually be the prequel. To Ico.
It is. Yeah. It
Yeah.
is.
So, I think it's a special game, and I think Blue Point absolutely outdid themselves when they remade it.
I do.
Because it's functionally an identical game, but it's even more special to me.
The horse got me. The sadness of killing the beings.
Don't spoil anything. Yeah. Don't spoil. The remake, the riding of Agro's way better.
Much better.
It's a better horse.
You can actually ride the fucker.
Yeah, and you can do some mad Atreus shit where you can ride on its back and then jump off and climb onto a colossus and climb up and. It is like never ending story. The game, isn't it? It's
very
mental,
much so.
And it's just a boss rush, but without feeling like a boss rush.
It's not even particularly rushed because you get a lot of kind of silent, quiet, reflecting time between
it's
the
so
fights.
beautiful.
I was just going to say, it's very desolate at first, and you suddenly realise you are.
I remember the reviews when it first came out. People said, "I would have liked a few mobs around and a few more little." I went, "No, I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't. I want goblins." Yeah, you didn't understand. This is Team Eco. They don't do what you want them to do. They do what they want to do. And the fact that they make all that narrative without any English in it whatsoever, it's a fake, made-up language. It's so fucking good.
Hardly any English in it. I think there's only about 40 lines of dialogue in the whole game.
It's just Dorman, innit, going... Yeah. So good.
Basically saying, you did well, go kill the next one.
Yeah.
That's basically all he says.
Raise your sword to the skies and follow the beam. It's just so good, so iconic.
Yeah.
It is saying that, like, I think Shadow of the Colossus is my journey. You know how people say journey's like it's such an adventure.
Yeah.
Shadow of the Colossus is my version of that. It's transcendent.
It's like Journey with combat.
Yeah. It's so good, so special.
Never played any of the trilogy, so I should probably get on with that.
You can kind of skip Last Guardian because people don't like how you've got to be really patient with the beast, but I loved it because I fell in love with the beast really early on. So I understand what it's like to have an animal that doesn't listen to you.
So does your wife.
It's like podcasting with you.
Exactly.
Shadow of the Colossus, I would say, is definitely the most accessible of the three.
Yep.
Eco is beautiful, but it's one of those games that you kind of have to get. Like, it's very Marmite.
Can you remember when you had to play it about 4 times to get a lightsaber?
Yeah. It's basically an 8-hour-long escort mission.
Yeah.
Oh, it's an escort mission.
So for some people, that is an immediate pull.
You can play Shadow of the Colossus without knowing anything. Because the story is the most oblique fucking story you've ever seen ever.
Mixed Dark Souls look like Shakespeare.
Yeah, genuinely. You don't know what's happening. You just do it. It's so good. Play it.
Well, speaking of Dark Souls,
here we go.
The next one up, number 5, 15 points. Demon's Souls.
Oh, Demon's
that's me,
Souls.
Noodles.
It's got to be us two. It's got to be me.
Me and you're out of this one, Biggie.
Yeah.
So tell us through Demon's Souls.
So we can't pick the original. This is Blue Point again. Absolutely stonking.
No, it can be the original. Original was 2009.
Really? It doesn't seem like it. It seems older.
No, it was 2000. Because I marked it for the original because I prefer the original.
You do, don't you? You've always said that. I like the remake more than the original.
We can talk about them both if you want. They kind of go hand in hand.
They are the same game.
Yeah.
But yeah,
one's prettier.
With mine, Blue Point again smashed it out. They are the best remakers of all time, in my opinion. They made what I loved about the original. So, Gadget, same as me, we started our FromSoft journey on the original. I think you did, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So,
I did, yeah.
when we got to Dark Souls, we were like, it's not that hard. It's not that fucking hard.
This walk in the park because we did the Tower of fucking Latria.
Yeah, exactly. It's basically when it first came out, it was like the spiritual successor to Kingsfield, which I played as well, especially Kingsfield 4, where
I've only played the first Kingsfield,
which is very archaic to play.
It's not a pleasant experience.
No. So Kingsfield 4 came out on PS2, and it's a first-person Dark Souls, basically. But then they put all that into Miyazaki's little, I'm going to do this instead. And Shuhei Yoshida of PlayStation, I think he was US president at that time of PlayStation, and he said, "This is shit. You can't make this game. This is fucking shit." Because he couldn't play it, could he? He wasn't good enough to play it. He was like, "This is the worst fucking game ever." And Miyazaki's like, "Well, you're getting this, or you get fuck all." And then it came out, and it didn't like blow the socks off anyone, but it cult status straight away.
You know, it only sold 10,000 copies in Japan in its first week.
Yeah, it's mad, isn't it? But
it wasn't until Atlas brought it over to the US.
Because it was Atlas, wasn't it? Yeah. And we got Bandai Namco doing it over here, didn't we? With the we got the Black Phantom edition in Britain, didn't we? But what it was to me, I was sold to this, to me saying, imagine if Zelda was really obtuse and rock hard, and I was like, yes, I'm in. And it's one of probably the best. And I'm talking old Zelda, like Ocarina of Time Zelda. It's like that, really obtuse. I mean, you all played a Dark Souls game, you all know what it's like, but this is even more obtuse.
I think the thing is with Demon's Souls, it does some things that Dark Souls improved on. Like Demon's Souls does some things badly.
Yes.
Like for instance, you have your equip load in all the Dark Souls games, but this one you also had your inventory load.
Items. So
you could just be picking up too many items,
like on Skyrim and stuff.
There's
no checkpoints either.
There's no checkpoints mid-level. You unlock shortcuts, and then you've got a checkpoint at the beginning and the end. And stuff
you
like
die,
that.
You start again at the beginning of the level.
Yeah, it is unforgiving to the point where some levels it feels unfair. Like Valley of Defilement 2 is an unfair level,
which is a valley of poo.
Yeah, it is but it's a huge swamp that slows you down, that instantly poisons you, and it's an enormous level in the dark. It's impossible. I hate that level.
But we've done it.
Yeah, we've done it. I've done it multiple times. The thing is with it, at the time, 2009, games coming out were very brown. They were very military shooter. There wasn't very many fantasy games coming out, and there wasn't many very RPGs. Certainly wasn't anything like Demon's Souls coming out.
No, there were.
It was this newish concept of this kind of rock hard action RPG with this really dark high fantasy concept that really shouldn't work.
And it's mad it's mad that Japanese developers made a very Western fantasy.
Yeah, it's your very very European fantasy.
Yeah.
But ultimately, it was a game that hated you, and I loved the challenge of that.
Yeah,
like
it hated you. It hated you, but it respected you getting through it.
Yeah, but all the bosses had a technique. They all had a tell. And I loved the puzzle of working that out, and that's what kind of got me into the Souls series in general.
Yeah.
Like you walk into the Tower Knight fight, and it looks like it's going to be impossible because you've got this 50-foot tall knight and 10 archers firing at you, and it's just like, okay, let's work this out.
It's a puzzle. Get the archers first, isn't it?
Get the archers first, attack the thing's ankles, hit its head.
It hits its head.
Dead.
Boom. But you didn't know that. That's what gadget. Yeah, that's what you're saying.
Yeah.
The bosses in Demon Souls are more puzzles than they are in Dark Souls. Dark Souls, it's get behind them, and slash their ass.
I think also as well, I think it had a better story than Dark Souls did.
I do. Because it had a
story.
story.
It had a story. It had a more linear story.
Yep.
About kind of rescuing this world and Demon Souls.
The king went mad.
The king went mad, started using the power of demons,
Yep.
and brought terror and hardship upon the world. And it was just, like I said, it was just a really creative game that no one expected. It came out, and it was a game I fucking hated the first time I played it, but then I kept playing it, and within about a day, because I rented it from Boomerang Games of all places, and within a day, I was hooked. It was basically when I beat Phalanx and I beat the first boss. I'm like, yeah, I'm in, fully in.
I loved it.
So,
I got lucky.
And it's
go on.
It's obviously inspired a love story for From Software in their games ever since.
Yeah, I got lucky with Demon Souls' first playthrough. I picked Royalty, which is the easy mode. I didn't mean to.
I think I went to like Caster or Wizard or something.
Oh, fucking hell! Shoot, send it
I had
pal.
a bad time.
Shoot, send it time. But yeah, the thing is with those type of games now, like me and Gadget could probably beat that game in 4 hours. Do you know what I mean?
About that, yeah.
But
depends how long I get stuck on the man-eaters, because I always get stuck on the man-eaters.
Oh, here they come. They are man-eaters.
Yeah.
It's just great. It's great. And again, the remake is beautiful. It's one of the best looking PS5 games.
Well, from one Souls game to another, in at number 4, there's Bloodborne.
Yep, me and you again.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, I put this at number 10.
You've played this, haven't you?
Yes.
Yeah. So for me, Bloodborne is the best FromSoft game.
No.
Technically, it's not. Like the frame rate needs help.
I'm talking about when I played it. I still don't think it's the best.
It certainly is my favorite.
It's great.
It is absolutely beautiful. I love the art direction of it. I love the twist to the combat. You know, you having to be hyper aggressive, but being able to like gain health back when you take damage in a fight. So you're just constantly pushing forward. It's like the Doom of FromSoft games, because it's constantly pushing you forward and forward and forward.
For me, it's the best 3D Metroidvania game ever made.
Yeah, very much so.
Easily.
Also, absolutely, I love that there is that huge twist in the middle.
Oh!
I love all but 2 of the boss fights.
Which ones don't you like?
I don't like the Witches of Hemwick.
It's not boss, it's just a fucking waste of time.
And I don't like Ebritus.
No one likes Ebritus, it's a dumb god.
It's a dumb god, but it's not an interest. She's got too much health.
She bangs her head on the floor.
Yeah. But conversely, that game also has some of FromSoft's greatest boss fights, like
Lady Maria,
Lady Maria, yeah, Orphan of Kos,
yeah,
Gehrman, even Mikolash. Mikolash is a really fun puzzle fight.
Oh yeah, Mikolash is good.
Yeah, there are so many good fights in that game.
Gadgoin at the beginning.
Oh yeah, Papa Gaza. He great tutorial boss, because everyone hits him first.
Yeah. It's just a good. It's beautifully macabre. Is the best way I can describe it. It's a goth fantasy. Emos rejoice. Do you know what I mean? It's just, and the clothes are fantastic. The thing that lets me down with it's not my favorite is the weapon variety.
Yeah, there's not enough weapons. The DLC did help that though.
Yes, because I got the whirlywig saw.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and the my favorite one, which was the flame hammer.
Oh, flame hammer's good.
Because you hit with 1, you hit with 2, then you set fire to it, and you boom with 3. Great combo. Kills everything.
Yeah. It's a sensational game, and it's the best atmosphere they've ever done.
Yeah, absolutely.
By a massive stretch. And they've done a story.
It's a great horror game.
They did a story from beginning to end, which is the first time they've ever fucking done that. It's just there. Everything's there in the game that you need to know. And Stig's played it the most. I know you've probably played Elden Ring more than that, haven't you?
Oh, definitely played Elden Ring more.
Because Elden Ring's my favourite Souls-like.
And massive.
And stupidly big.
Yeah.
But
so the surprising thing was I wrote down all of the games that I'd played in the last 15 years as exclusives, and it was a toss-up between this and Tearaway. I wanted number 10.
Tearaway's really good.
Tearaway is really good, but I do like this game. I nearly gave up on it straight away. I've talked about this before, but I'd never played a Souls game before. I had no idea.
You went in with one of the harder ones.
I had no idea what was I was in store for. I literally just got told this is a PlayStation exclusive. Everyone was going crazy for it. Go and play it and get it. So I did. And I just couldn't get around the first corner, and I did not know what I was doing wrong. I was like, "What?" I was like, "This game is so frustrating." And someone on the forum just said, "Just run past him, set yourself, and then that's like, it's done it on purpose. So when you go around that first corner down those first steps, you just get hit. It's like, but run past him." And I did.
You can die. You can literally die at that.
And
I kind of
set myself up. Right. What do I do? And then it clicked. And I still found it ridiculously hard. I have no idea how far I got into the game. Maybe, I don't know. I remember getting knocked out, waking up in a jail.
So
the bag snatchers.
Yeah. So if you got to that point, that means you beat the blood-starved beast. So you beat at least 4 bosses.
Yeah. And there's probably I probably didn't even get that far into it. But
did you not see the spider boss?
No. You wouldn't.
I can't remember, but
Rom.
I do think I don't know.
No,
I think I fell off
wouldn't
it
have gone that
because other games came out, and I just never went back to it.
I would recommend going back to it, but the frame rate is
It's
awful
shocking.
even on PS5.
30 frames per second is minging.
No, I'm gonna
Sometimes
eventually
not even
wait.
that much.
I'm gonna wait
Like
for the
20 frames.
eventual updated version because it's gonna come because everyone wants it.
We've been waiting for that for so long.
Yeah,
Stupid.
2015
Yes.
game. I think 2025 10-year anniversary seems like a nice
That
point.
works.
Yeah, so I'd be quite happy to dive back in again on when it's kind of had an upgrade and whatever.
I still think they should have called it Beast Souls.
Well, that was the original title.
Yeah, I know. I should have kept it as that.
I don't know. I
there
think giving him
there was a copyright reason for
but
it.
I do think having a separate title, not putting Souls in the title, kind of helps.
Well, it's like with Elden Ring.
Yeah.
It's not Elden Souls.
Sekiro,
Yeah.
like they all have. If you just put Souls in the title, people are just go, "Oh, another one."
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, no, it's a pleasant surprise. Like that, I found myself putting in the top 10 because I did like eventually when it kind of clicked what I had to do. I did kind of enjoy it, and I also
That's
remember,
why Elden Ring's better because it's more accessible.
Yeah, I also remember one moment in the game which made me laugh and I really enjoyed it. Was I was struggling with a knight on a rooftop, and he kept killing me over and over again. And in one fight, I rolled out the way, and he rolled past me and just fell off the roof and died. And I was like, "Oh, brilliant!"
Jura.
Yeah, I was like, "Brilliant!"
Yeah, it's Jura, isn't it? That it's a known tactic. It's a known tactic.
It's a known tactic. Every time I've killed him has been that way because fighting him head on is terrible.
When you climb up the ladders, you just keep blasting him with pistol. He falls off.
Yeah, it was just like, "Oh, you can do stuff like that in this. That's good."
Yeah, it's such a
You
good,
daft.
such a good game.
Right, Biggie, you can talk about this next one. Because at number 3, with 25 points, is Death Stranding.
Well, I haven't played that much of it, to be honest.
Well,
Oh,
what did
fuck's
you
sake, man.
what did you like? What you did play of it?
Yeah, you've put it in your top 10.
Oh no, I put it in there because
Yeah.
it's out of the games I could think of to go in there. It was
Yeah, exactly.
stunning opening. I like the world building, the setup. I just didn't have the time to invest in really soaking that game up and being a delivery guy. It just, it's one of those games that I put on the back burner and always say I'll go back to, but other things just distract me from going to it. But yeah, it's an incredibly looking game. Kojima's done fantastic work as always. I was quite invested in the story right off the bat. I thought, what's this all about? I want to find out more. But I haven't gone back to it. But Candy's dropped some stuff in there for me. Keep saying go in there, and I've set some.
She's done a
tools
full highway,
or
mate.
ladders. Yeah, but I
You
just
could
need to
skip
go
half
back
the game because of
at some
it.
point.
Yeah, so this was Candy's number 1. I should have
I'm
said
sure
as
it
well
Yeah, that tracks.
Bloodborne was Gadget's number 1. Death Stranding is your number 2.
Yes.
And Death Stranding is Oodle's number 6.
Yep.
Now, I just want to mention, I've dropped off this game. I don't think I'll ever go back to it. It hasn't clicked with me. It looks stunning. The soundtrack is amazing.
Oh, soundtrack.
I find it quite dull. And the story is a bit all over the place. And I'm just not asked about the whole delivery thing and the rain and blah, blah, blah.
I think people...
I just...
This is going to sound like really like, oh, you just don't get it. It's not a delivery game.
I know it's not a delivery game, but it's part of the mechanics and I don't really like it.
Yeah. To make the game easier, you do deliver more.
Yeah, I think it's just very much the case of it. Like a lot of Kojima games, it's a love it or a hate it kind of thing. And the people who like, there's no kind of in between. No one says, "Oh, I like it. It's an alright game."
You love it or you don't.
You either fucking love it or you fall off it in the first 10 hours.
There was a great interview I read from Kojima where they were talking about the delivery simulator, and he don't like it. He's same as me. He don't like when people. He said the only reason the delivery aspect's in it is to give you an excuse to walk about, because you wouldn't walk about if you weren't delivering to random outposts. You just wouldn't do it, would you? You just go from A to B. And the fact with that, the weather thing and stuff, I feel like this is a puzzle game at heart, because you've got to think of your way around these solutions. You are one man against all the elements, and this time the elements kill you. Like rain kills you. Do you know what I mean? It's and how he made it
terrifying.
The BTs are terrifying because you can't fully see them. You've also got to take a baby with you. Even though the game tells you, that's not a real baby, you still fucking care so much for this baby because it's a natural thing, isn't it? Like, do you know what it reminds me of? And I've said this before. Have you ever played Yoshi's Island?
Nope.
So, when Yoshi's Island, when you lose baby Mario and he's crying and he's in the balloon, it reminds me of that, where because you're constantly on this adventure, there's two of you. When you lose the aspect of two of you, and there's a big moment in the game where you don't have the baby, and it's such a shock to the system, isn't it, Gadget, that you haven't got the baby with you?
Yeah.
Because it's also a mechanic. The baby spots the ghosts, the BTs, and it takes that away for you for a few hours, and it's harrowing because you've grown attached to something that's not real. And I love when games do that to you. Like, games do that thing where you've got a dog with you all the game, and at the end the dog's taken away, or you've got this with you. And I think this game's not about delivering. And this is going to sound so verbose and shy. It's connection, which is what the game's theme is. The game is connection, and it's more than just a strand. This is a strand game. No, he's trying to get you as a player to connect with what you're actually physically doing. And I think it's really smart about it, because by the end, I did start caring about these fucking ones and zeros on my screen. Do you know what I mean? And I think it's really like cerebral. There are some boring bits, but in life, there's boring bits. Do you get what I mean? I think it's a bit more than its some parts, and people don't realise it. They say, "Oh, fucking Amazon delivery driver, the game." No, it's not. It's not just that. That's just how you get from A to B. That's why he's in that position.
I tell you
why.
What.
Go on.
I would have liked a few more caves to have hidden.
Yeah, that's true.
There's not enough bloody There's no hiding spots when the rain comes down.
But
it's like
when you open the map, you can see the rain cloud. So you could think, I could sneak through the BTs, or I could go round, which is going to take way longer, and my boots are going to run out, and my battery's going to run out. And do I take that path? And that's what the game's about. Do I go through the human enemies, which if I kill them, they blow up and leave craters? Or do I go through the ghosts? Or do I go around the complete other end, take some ropes and some ladders, and climb and spelunk? And I think it's a lot cleverer than people give it credit for. And then again, I'm a big Kojima fan as well. So
it's easy to just delivery driver of the game, but it's just it hasn't clicked for me.
It's a slow start as well.
I like Kojima games as well. But
I know you do. It's a slow start. There's nothing. You don't have much equipment with you to start off with. It's like, go here. I'm like, fucking hell, that's miles away. But you get an incredible soundtrack while you're doing it.
Yeah, it's true.
It's fucking. It's really good. I don't know. I think it's special as fuck. And that PS5 version, that director's cut.
Yeah.
Fucking
The story
hell.
is absolutely bobbins in places.
Oh, it's stupid.
What's
It's
Kojima?
stupid.
Like,
Yeah.
those are.
I always think back to Metal Gear Solid 2. What the fuck? Do you know what I mean?
To be fair, I always think back to Metal Gear Solid 5. What the fuck?
Yeah, well, that weren't finished.
The opening to that was fantastic.
If she speaks in a certain language, it will infect other people
English.
and wipe out the English language. Yeah.
Stupid.
No, that's not an ending issue. That's a concept issue. He just wanted her in a fucking bikini.
Yeah, he does think he's smarter than he is. He's not that smart. Like if he'd have just if he could have got rid of the delivery completely.
Candy's headache has just gotten stronger.
No,
now.
but he's not that smart. If he'd have got rid of the delivery completely and said, you've just got to take this little thing that goes into your fake inventory, like on other games. No, we have a fake inventory, a fake backpack.
Yeah.
He could have done that, but he's just turned it into a gameplay aspect. And I don't know, it's dead clever. And this actual connection with real people. I was playing it day one, and we were all doing it together as a community. We were all, and then I remember, because I was in TCGS Discord then, and people I were playing with, it popped up saying, they've built me a road. I'm like, you don't realise how much that road's means to me at this moment in time, because I was fucking no battery. I could do anything. I was going to die. And that road appeared out of nowhere. Like, thank you.
I love the games. I think it's one of the best things Kojima's ever did.
Yeah, I do.
It's flawed. It's flawed as fuck. But I think ultimately the experience is wonderful if it twigs with you. Don't read the novelization of it, though. That was fucking shite.
It doesn't need a
I just realised something else I should have put in as well. Fuck. Can't believe I didn't put it in.
Too late now.
We'll bring it up at the end. Anything else on Death Stranding, Gadget?
No, I'm good. I think Oodles has encapsulated most of it.
Okay, right, we're on to number 2. This is another draw with 30 points. We have God of War 2018 and The Last of Us Part 2.
Fuck off!
Now,
Fuck off! Now I know what number 1 is.
Yeah, I think everyone has guessed what number 1's going to be. Now, I think that this is because Gadget and Candy haven't played Part 2.
Yes.
Okay, no, I haven't finished Part 2 because
You started it during COVID.
I started during COVID, but it was also because it was the September, the first September of COVID.
The first one.
I enjoyed it up to the point I was on my way. The last bit I remember doing was the TV station.
Oh, so you're in Seattle, yeah?
Yeah, I was in Seattle, and I was moving on to the next bit where you had to do. You went. There were these enemies that kind of like hid in the dark and rushed you.
Yeah.
And it was after that tutorial that I stopped. I was just like, stalkers, yeah. And I just thought, this is so unrelentingly depressing. I will come back to this in the future.
When we weren't allowed out of his house.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
What I played was excellent. Like, I'm not saying I didn't consider it a bad game in any way, shape, or form. I was not emotionally capable of playing that game at the time.
That's why it's probably not in your top 10, because I think this game, to really, really appreciate the story and what they did with it, you need to play the second half of it.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, I know.
I think it's the best bit.
So,
yeah.
So I tell you what, before you get into gushing about Last of Us Part 2, I will quickly run through God of War.
Yeah.
Yep.
We talked about a lot when we did Ragnarok, but God of War 2018 for me, it came out of fucking nowhere.
What a surprise.
I didn't actually have a PS4 when it came out, and because I had to sell it because I was going through some personal stuff at the time. But I moved into a flat following my divorce, and I bought myself a PS4 Pro.
Yep.
And the first game I bought for it was God of War. And I played through it and adored it.
It's so
Absolutely
good.
Adored it. And it was just after me and Pippa started seeing each other, actually, that I ended up playing through it. And we sat and we watched it, and it was her first time backseating playing a game, and she enjoyed the story for what
she
it was.
does it often now, doesn't she? She'll watch her play games all the time, won't she?
Yeah, she's currently enjoying watching me playing Zelda, not because there's any story or anything going on. She just thinks it's pretty.
Because you're making giant robots with massive cocks. That's what I'm doing anyway. That's what I'm doing.
She's enjoying me abusing the Koroks.
Oh god, it's so fun.
But she really loved it, and I loved it. I had no idea when I played, because I'd played through the first 3 God of War games.
You didn't play Ascension? Come on.
No.
No one did.
I didn't.
No one fucking did. I loved it.
And I never had a PSP, so I never played the PSP games.
Oh, they're good.
But yeah, so when I played through this, I was kind of expecting a bit more of that because I hadn't really seen much about it.
Yeah.
Other than the review scores. But then I played it, I was like, holy shit, this is like a fucking HBO drama. And like the combat was kind of, it was a little bit soulsy, a bit chunky, a bit heavy. The sound of the Leviathan axe is chef's kiss.
The thunk,
beautiful.
The thunk when it comes back.
The thunk. Oh yeah.
Thunk.
But also the pang when it goes off someone's head as well.
Yes.
I loved the different accessibility in the combat. I loved when you started being able to use Atreus as your little kind of shooting buddy. And I just loved the dynamic between Kratos and Atreus, because my knowledge of Kratos up to that point, which would have been everybody's knowledge of Kratos, was this: the man's so angry he can't die.
the man's so angry he killed his wife and kid.
Yeah, so and then killed all of the Greek gods. Like,
destroyed Athens.
And when you see him, even in the early game, like, he's obviously standoffish with Atreus throughout most of the game, but you see him being tender to Atreus, and it's just like, this isn't the Kratos I remember.
Do you know what got me? The first
Kratos.
moment in that game that really got me, really at the beginning, when Atreus is being sad and stuff, and then Kratos tries to put his hand on his shoulder, and he pulls his hand away. I'm like, oh fuck, he doesn't know how to. Oh god!
See, that's
he's got feelings, emotional feelings, like a human.
And that's one of the reasons I love Ragnarok as well, because that comes full circle, and he finally.
Other way around. Isn't it? Yeah.
And I think what then sold me fully on the game, 100% fully, was that opening boss fight with Balder.
Yeah,
because that was the wildest, weirdest, biggest, most stupid boss fight I've ever played, and it was the first big boss fight of the game.
And it gave me question because it was just called the Stranger.
Yeah,
it kept you guessing. Who the fuck's that?
And again, like I talked about before, it was just the escalation of things. You know, everything was about getting higher to spread the wife's ashes.
Yeah,
and every little bit of escalation, both in the story or in where they actually were physically in the world, it just got bigger and bigger and weirder and weirder. The fucking dragon boss fight was incredible.
Yeah.
And it all kind of crescendos up to this beautiful moment when they reach the top of very, very top of the mountain, the very end. And you get this calm, reflective moment. And I was in bits.
Yeah.
I was in absolute bits at the end of that game, which I wasn't at Ragnarok. Ragnarok had a nice ending. I liked the ending of Ragnarok, but I was a fucking.
It's when he says it's like
2018.
It's a post-credit scene in Ragnarok.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. And he says, like, "What do we do now? What do we do now? We go home." And you go home. Boom! What a fucking cliffhanger. It's just fucking. See, again, my favorite aspect about this is all the way from, like, this is a great reboot. Halfway through the game, you realise this is not a reboot; it's a sequel.
Oh yeah,
it's a fucking sequel. I'm like, holy shit! And then everything coalesces, and then Mimir talks about all his past and all his adventures, and these adventures I've played all the PSP ones. He mentions all the PSP ones. He mentions this. It's all canon. I'm like, this is not a reboot. It's just a fucking sequel.
Well, it's a reboot in a sense that the gameplay wise is very different. Because I've never played God of War, the PS3 or PS2 versions.
Yeah.
Just never played them. I don't know why.
But that is story. That did happen.
I've watched clips of it, and I've seen how Kratos is, and I've seen like the voice acting and the character and everything, and it's completely different. Like the studios taken the character and gone, right, gone a completely
they've made him a character.
Yeah, they've gone a completely different direction with it. Like changed the way that it controls, changed the way that the character is. They brought in Christopher Judge does the voice. Is incredible as Kratos.
He owns it.
They put in a character with Atreus, which in 99% of other games would be an escort person who did your tits in and got in your way and constantly got captured, and you'd have to run over and free them from the enemies. Whereas this, he's used. You use him as a weapon. Yeah. They actually made you care and want to use Atreus, which I think is a really great mechanic as well.
Such a great game. But what was the other one in number 2? Last of Us 2.
Last of Us Part 2.
Yes. So I'll start with this one. So this is my number 1. I think it's the best PlayStation exclusive by far.
It's my number 1 as well.
It's mechanically the best Naughty Dog game. They've done everything.
And Biggies.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. As a developer, they've utilized everything that they've ever learned and encompassed it into the most heart-wrenching, visceral, beautiful, gut-punching, everything into just one. Like, playing this game mechanically is just satisfying as fuck. It's perfect. You make the character do exactly what you've pressed, what you want to do. The narrative is on another fucking scale. It is unreal. And the second half of the game is even better. It's even better. It's just everything about it. It flips the script so many times. It does horror like you've never seen horror before, especially some of the all I'm going to say is to Rat King is just insane, that moment. And just it crescendos into just, I don't know, I was crying my eyes out playing this game. It blew me away. The ending's fucking phenomenal. It launched this huge thing where everyone loved Last of Us Part 1, but I think Last of Us Part 2 made everyone love the series as a whole. We've got a great show out of it. Not because the second one, but out of the first one. But it does what games daren't do. It subverts your expectations massively. They didn't reveal anything in the trailers and leading up to it. They didn't spoil anything. People still respect the spoilers to it to this day. It's, I don't know. It's the best Sony exclusive by far. And I get it. It's not to everyone's taste because it's brutal. It's the worst in humanity. This game, more than the last, it's not about the clickers and stuff. This is about people.
Like, in The Last of Us, your job is to protect Ellie.
Yeah.
And you do that by, you as Joel, you do that by being the one that has to make the tough decisions and being the one that has to kill people and do everything to protect Ellie. And you see her as a daughter. And then you play as Ellie, and she's more grown up. And
she's
you see how brutal she has to become.
Yeah.
In order to
she's been raised in this world,
survive in this world. Yeah, and she's worse than Joel ever is.
The things she does makes Joel look like a goodie, and he's not a goodie.
Yeah.
In any way, shape, or form. It's just, again, it's the duality of man as well. It's really philosophical. What would you do in this situation? How would you react if you've... Remember, Ellie was born into this world. She doesn't know any different. And then it flips the script, and then the second half of the game, it does things from a different perspective. Everything's just... I don't know, it's perfect. I think this game's perfect. Genuinely. I don't think there's a single flaw to it. Well, if there was a flaw, it's horrendous sometimes, like on a level that games have rarely ever do.
The only flaw I would say is it's a tad long. Like,
really?
Yeah, I would agree.
I don't think so.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just narrative games that drag on a little bit too much when you start getting into the 35 to 40 hours. You just
I agree.
Condense that down to 25 hours, 20 to 30 hours. But that is literally the tiniest nitpick. Like, it didn't really bother me, but I could see where you could probably shave a little bit off. But
there's definitely a few bits that you could have done. Yeah.
Yeah. What about yourself?
I love the way it switches between the characters.
Don't spoil anything.
The way I'm not. Just the flashbacks to other things as
the
well,
flashbacks.
Yeah.
It was just delivering. Obviously, certain characters, what happens to them, just unexpected. It just was, just really well done. And even the ending wasn't the ending I wanted, but I appreciated what they did with it. I thought it was
That's
fantastic.
what I liked about it. It's not the ending you wanted, mate. That's what I love about it. They're brave as fuck. It's not what you wanted.
But it's superb. Everyone should play it without a doubt. Just it has to be done. Like if Gadget does return to it, I think it's a must just to understand
I will return to it. I do want to finish it, and I'll probably submit maybe back into this year, but based on the recent announcements, this year is going to be a fucking busy and expensive one. So
yeah, it's true.
It is in the list to play.
Definitely get it played before the TV series carries on.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. I don't think we're going to get season 2 of that for a couple of years.
Not going to be 2024 or 2025.
Yeah.
But yeah, I also just think that Naughty Dog they were very brave with some decisions in this.
It's what I'm saying. No one else dare do that.
Just one huge decision thing they did, and then the part in the middle
and the
of the
internet
game
went wild.
Yeah, the middle of the game where you play from a different perspective, and you start that, and you go, "Oh, the fuck! I don't want to do this.
How dare you do this to me?
I don't want to do this. What are you doing?" Like, and then by the end of that, you're just like, "Yeah,
I'm glad you did this.
Yes,
yeah."
And the environments in the game are just stunning.
Seattle's so much more interesting than you realise, isn't it?
It's just so well done.
Such a spectacular, and it has open world bits in it as well. It's like really like surprising bits.
Oh, it's just just the other things is like the way making noises and the way that you can distract things. I think you could do a few more things with the clickers and humans to make them fight each other more than you could in the first one.
And every single human NPC's got a name.
Yeah, like I know people take the piss out of that, but actually I know why they did it. Because when you kill someone and someone walks up to them, they're like, "Oh no, David!" Like, that NPC starts to cry and fret about this person.
Again, not to spoil it too much, but when the game flips the script, you get why they're all named.
Yeah, exactly. So
what the fuck? It's like, what the fuck? Even the dogs are named. Do you know what I mean? It's like, what the fuck? And it's just...
I did not enjoy having to kill the dogs. That was It
is a dog killing game. It's a dog killing game. But it's just
if it were real life and one was attacking you, you'd have to, wouldn't you?
Yep.
So, and that's what it makes you do. Puts you through that. But,
I genuinely, again, I think it's the best PlayStation game.
Mechanically as well, it's just great. Like just little touches.
You can prone.
Well. But it's just little touches. Like there's a bit where you have to grab an extension lead and plug something like a generator in. And I saw a TikTok of it, and they were just like, "Watch this," and they let it go, and they pull it tight, and it's just the actual movement and how it pulls tight, and the little details like that where it acts like a real rope, like a real cord. They've put so much detail into it.
Would you know, like when Ellie, or whatever, Ellie jumps off, and if it's a high enough ledge where it doesn't kill you, but you still take a bit of health, she has a limp for a little bit. Yeah. She's hurt her ankle. It's like, fucking hell, come on.
I like Biggie mentioned the flashbacks to add more to Ellie and Joel's story.
That museum bit
one is just incredible. Yeah. So.
Fuck me.
Yeah, I did play that one. That was amazing.
So yeah,
so good.
There are number 2s, which only leaves one late game left for number 1, which is in everybody's list. It's at my number 3. It's at Oodle's number 7. It's at Candy's number 5, Biggie's number 2, and Gadget's number 4. And that's The Last of Us Part 1.
Fabulous game.
This is how Naughty Dog became the Uncharted, from the Uncharted people to, we've got to keep his eye on these fuckers. We've got to keep our eyes on these fuckers, because I first played it on PS3, I think.
I don't think it's specifically something to say about Naughty Dog, because Naughty Dog have been making effectively quality games since before the PS1.
Yeah, I know that, but it was platformers and Uncharted.
No, this is the one where it's like, oh, we need to keep an eye on Neil Druckmann.
Yeah, maybe it's Druckmann, maybe it's him, maybe he's the visionary that they needed. Yeah,
because this is, again, unlike Uncharted. Uncharted is a fun romp, but it's very video gamey.
Yeah, how many people did it kill?
So many. But this is a one where, and again, it's kind of what I was saying about God of War. The first one that felt like an HBO quality drama. You know,
do you know what it was to me?
It ended up being an HBO quality drama.
The homages to The Road and Children of Men, and that kind of how it just pulled that gritty post-apocalypse, and the opening to The Last of Us Part 1 is probably most, as a dad, the most horrendous thing I could possibly.
It's heartbreaking.
Mm.
And I've never, and when I first played it, I wasn't a dad. I'm playing it since.
Same here.
God.
That whole opening sequence is brilliant. You get a lot of characterization. You get a lot of the confusion in the storyline, and the whole sequence where you kind of your camera is on Sarah in the back of the car.
Yeah,
is done so well.
Yeah,
and Like it's a game where they took a lot from Uncharted in terms of spectacle and set pieces, but I think they used it in the right way. Whereas Uncharted's about being over the top. This one's a much more understated.
Did you know that when they made it, they had to slow the pace down of Joel because when they first started it was Nathan Drake running around style Joel.
Yeah,
and they went, no, this man's old. Pace him down a bit. 50s, yeah, pace. This man's not running around going yippee ki yay, motherfucker. Do you know what I mean? This is. But just keep it toned down.
It's also a slower game.
Yeah, and I think it's better for it.
Yeah, like there's only 2 sections I can think of off the top of my head where the game is quick, and that's the sniper alley, and the hospital at the end.
Yeah, that is fast.
Everything else, even like the big action sequences, they ain't fast.
No. It's
maybe the horse chase with Ellie. In the winter.
Yeah.
I just think it's one of the things that was missing from the TV series because I still feel like it was fantastic, but just a little bit rushed. And I'd like to have seen more interaction with Ellie and Joel because in the game you do spend a lot of time. Yes, you're walking around doing platforming stuff at times, but the way they were talking to each other and she was learning more about the world.
They do talk to each other through those monotonous bits, don't they? Those monotonous pushing.
I think that little characterization was just it worked really well in that first game. Hence why you care so much about Ellie as the game goes on because you spend all that time with her.
Yeah.
And then when Joel gets injured, you then have to play as Ellie for quite a bit, and she seems a bit more fragile when you're playing as her as well. And I think that was done really well in the game.
That's all she can. You can only get hit once, I think, or something like that.
Yeah,
she's not very.
You take a few hits, but not.
She's not very strong, is she? That's it. Yeah. I just think retroactively, I think, and I know this was first, but part 2 is just a better version of this. If you get what I mean,
it is
the game.
True. I think part 1 as well also works in that it's a horrific, not horror game because it isn't a horror game. It's got horrific moments in it, but the actual subject matter, like again going to winter, the whole sequence with David is fucking horrible.
You didn't expect it, especially at that time.
No, because by the time you get to winter, you think, oh, maybe Joel has died, or towards the end of the game. I didn't expect there to be a full fucking season of it and to be fucking chased by a cannibal cult.
Yeah,
so
that wants to have his wicked way with you. Awful.
Yeah, and
it was brilliantly acted, isn't it? It's just the first game.
All of it is. All of it is.
That you
especially back then.
Feels like you say, an HBO drama. It just the first time that I felt a game had delivered that from start to finish.
Yeah,
I think it's also one of those true. There are a lot of games that are marketed directly to adults, but I think there are very few adult games.
Yes,
I think both The Last of Us are.
It's like
qualified.
Leisure Suit Larry is an adult's game, but this is for adults.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
It's a grown-ups game.
It's a grown-ups game. Yeah,
but yeah, I really like that, and even though the mechanics are a little bit previous gen because it's obviously they've just taken it from like a lot of the shooting mechanics and that came from Uncharted.
Yeah.
But it makes more sense in this world. It's less ludonarrative dissonance because you are surviving. The people you encounter are trying to kill you, and Joel is a killer.
There's I think is it 30 or 35? There's 35 humans you can kill in this game. You know what I mean? I think
there's a lot more humans than that.
I'm pretty sure it's something. No, there's an actual number that they put because I remember. Do you know on that making of that really like 2-hour documentary that they did?
Well, yeah, but I'm saying the combat encounters you will encounter more than 35 humans.
There's a number that, but yeah, unlike Uncharted, what I mean is where there's no number because it's in the thousands.
Yeah, it's still it's not as many as Uncharted. Still a good few hundred though.
You reckon?
But the point. Oh yeah, it's a long game.
I might stream it and count every kill.
You're getting mixed up with the TV show.
Am I?
Yeah, TV show. Joel kills less than
39 people on the TV show.
That's it. Yeah, sorry. I know. I heard that somewhere.
Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a game that's full of twists and turns. It's a wonderful story. Obviously, kind of really introduced the world to Ashley Johnson as a voice actor. I mean, she was a voice actor for a long time, but this was like her starring role.
She played a kid, and she weren't a kid.
No, she was in her 30s.
She played a kid really well.
Yeah. And it was also just kind of big budget gaming. It's like this, like it elevated what AAA gaming could be because AAA gaming up to that point had been your Call of Duties, your FIFAs, your annualized high budget things. But this was This was something different. It was like it broke the mold for what AAA game could be. And considering it came out after the PS4 came out, but it was released on the PS3, the original run on the PS3, it ran really well and it looked fucking great.
It did.
Yeah. I mean, I know most people will have played the PS4 remastered.
Yeah, so that was basically my first go on it.
And the PS5 remastered remake version's even nicer. I'll play it on PC, guys, if you really want some fun.
No, let's not.
Oh, you also had the little DLC as well for Last of Us.
Yeah,
Left Behind was great.
Behind.
Yeah, and Factions was good. Remember the Factions?
Never played it.
That was good. It was good. It had a narrative to it in a weird way, and it's strange. It was a multiplayer game, but you didn't have to play it multiplayer. Very weird. Very good.
I just love the narrative of this. I love the narrative of both of them, and that's why it's still high up on my list. But obviously, ultimately, for me, Part 2 just took that and the game mechanics and just elevated it. But
that's why I think you'll like Days Gone, because it's trying to go for that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, I love a narrative game as well. So
yeah, you'll
like, if you look in if you look in my top 10, most of them are
single player narratives.
Yeah,
yeah.
It actually is. Apart from, I mean, Bloodborne doesn't have much of a narrative, and Astrobot VR, but the rest of them are all single player narrative games.
Yeah, every single one of mine, apart from Gran Turismo 7, is a single player narrative game, and I played Gran Turismo 7 single player.
All of mine are single player narrative games, even my Mulligan.
That is the PlayStation's
I think that is, isn't it?
Ethos, isn't it? They like single player narrative games still.
Yeah, that's what they're good.
A great item.
I mean, no, everyone has to remember that quality top tier 10 out of 10 game that was PlayStation All Stars Rumble.
Never forget.
Oh, is that the one you missed off, Biggie?
Lest we forget.
Who needs Super Smash Brothers when you've got
again though, pulling it back to this show, I think that's a solid top 10. But I would have just changed 1 and 2, part 1 and 2. That's all I'd have done.
And if either me or Candy finished it probably would have changed.
I think it would.
Probably.
So just to run down top 10, what was number 10? Astrobot Rescue Mission VR. 9 was Joint Days Gone and Journey. 8 was Spider-Man and Spider-Man Miles Morales. 7, God of War Ragnarok Uncharted 4. 6, Shadow of Colossus. 5, Demon's Souls. 4, Bloodborne. 3, Death Stranding. 2, Last of Us Part 2 and God of War 2018. And number 1, The Last of Us Part 1.
That's some desert island game in that, if you only had them to play.
Solid games all around.
Keep you busy for a couple of months.
Yeah, that's fucking solid,
Weekend
man.
Fruitles.
Yeah, easy.
Quiet Tuesday afternoon.
Yeah.
So yeah, just before we head off and say bye, what was the one you missed off, Biggie?
There's 3 on my list. Persona
Shadowfall.
5 would have.
Shadowfall.
Persona 5, Dreams.
Can't have it.
Just because of what it delivered. But the one I didn't think of was PT Demo. Because that's just
God.
such a stunning what could have been. Because that was such a great, spooky, very surreal, very unsettling demo. Playable for as long as you want it to be until you finish it. It's really nasty. And then you got the trailer at the end and just showed you.
I'd have allowed it.
But yeah, the PT demo itself is great. Very clever. Very, very clever.
I couldn't finish it. I had to use a guide to finish it. I didn't know what to do. I was like, how the fuck do I complete this?
It was pretty esoteric.
And then once I beat it, I was like, oh yeah, that was fun.
When you go round and round, and you're just like, what the fuck? I'm just going round and round in a circle here.
Yeah.
You have to trigger something, and then...
Mate, you know what I'm like with my brain? I was going round in a circle for about 4 hours. I was doing the longest demo ever.
It's a clever loop of, like you say, having to set things off.
The big jump scares insane.
I liked it.
Yeah, the big jump scare. What's her name? Caroline or something like that, where she gets you. It's just that I actually fell off my sofa. I jumped so high.
Yeah, that's awful. It's awful.
And she's there for the entire game behind you for the whole time.
If you want, I've got a PS4 in my house with that game still on it. So...
Oh, you need to stream that.
Fuck off.
Yeah. Halloween special.
I can't even beat Alien Isolation, mate. I don't do jump scary games. I don't do them.
I had one mulligan on my list because I wasn't sure on Nier Automata because it came out on PC on the same day as PS4.
And now it's on Switch, isn't it? But yeah, it's
I'll allow it.
Well, no, we didn't mind if it was re-released later on.
Yeah.
But the other one I had was, which actually, to be fair, is also on Switch now, so logic still stands. Ni no Kuni: Wrath of the White Witch,
Very good game.
which is
Very good. It's the Ghibli game,
wonderful.
isn't it?
Yeah, wonderful JRPG with Studio Ghibli doing the graphics.
Which is it's a little Pokemon game as well in a weird way, isn't it?
Yeah, when you've got this Welsh boy.
Drippy.
Well, beautiful game, beautiful art. One of the best JRPGs I've ever played.
Yeah,
It's stunning. It's great, fantastic.
like I said, mine was Tearaway on the Vita. That was
my other one, mate.
the game that used the Vita properly.
Yeah, that was my other
Yeah,
one.
and there were very few of those.
Yeah, and it was really, really good.
Do
platformer.
you know what else was in my list? And I just can't remember if it counted in the 15 years, but it might do. Killzone Mercenaries. I really
Don't
like
know
that
when
one.
that came out, but
Can you remember that one? Biggie.
I remember it. Yeah,
it's like Uncharted. That triple Uncharted PS4 remaster. I didn't know. So does that count? So I just thought, I'll just leave it off.
Do you know what? When you started this before you put the 15-year stipulation, my number one was Jeanne d'Arc on PSP because I fucking love it. I love that game.
If I had to put like a 50, I mean, we could literally do the start to 2018 kind of
Siphon filter.
2008, because then you would have things originally like Metal Gear Solids were exclusive, Tekken 3 and all that. But I just thought
Wipeout.
this list would be so
Fantasy
spread out
7.
with ones.
Final Fantasy 7.
You'd have a few like The Last of Us and God of War, but there'd be a lot of ones in there that would just have like 2, 3, 4 points random, and it would have just.
You're telling me you guys wouldn't have had Alundra 2 in it? Come on, you love Alundra.
everyone knows the best PlayStation game of all time is Vib Ribbon.
Vib Ribbon's really good. Really fucking good. And Spice World. Don't forget Spice World. That was really good.
But the main games, just think about it.
If we'd gone...
Go on.
I was saying that the main games I was thinking of was was just that my PlayStation 4 and 5, a lot of it was multiplayer games for me. And
of course it
multi-platform
was.
as well. Destiny, Battlefield, Division, all that kind of stuff. They're the main games.
Notably
I've
not
played.
PlayStation exclusives.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's why I struggled a little bit when I thought of the list, because I've played single player games, but a lot of my time is multiplayer.
I also think that a lot of PS1 and PS2 had a lot of exclusives, didn't they, anyway? And it would have just drawn this list out massively, because I'm pretty sure like all Devil May Cry and all that were exclusives originally. Yeah, so that's
all the Resident Evils, all the...
Yeah, that's why I had to put that in the last 15 years, because there's still some top tier games there. And also, most of them are fresh in our minds on how we feel about them.
Yeah.
So
it might be worth doing another one of these in the future and doing PlayStation 1 to PlayStation 2.
Yeah.
Or top 10 multi-platform games. Mad Max, baby, number 1. Let's go!
multi-platform's a good one. So yeah, we'll come back with another ranking another time. We've just got to try and think of
Biggie will come in with Battlefield 2042.
Loves it.
We've just got to think of ones where we've all played it, because I'd love to do a Mario one, but I just don't think Biggie and Candy have played enough Mario games.
No.
I feel like I've played every single Mario game. I think I have.
I've played a lot of Mario games that I could easily do a top 10, but
I think I've played.
maybe me.
I think I have.
Us all just do it without them.
Yeah.
I think there's only a handful of Mario games I haven't played. Yeah, I think I could do that.
Anyway,
I know what my number 1 Mario game is, so it's pointless.
This has been a very very long Patreon bonus.
Oh God, it has.
We don't usually go this long, but we got talking and it was fun. So we'll be back next month for something. We don't know what. I have an idea again. We'll see if everyone likes that idea. Until then, catch the regular podcast every Thursday. June starts Kenny Potter, Expecto Patreonis. The Fast series has now ended. The guys will do Fast 10 when it comes on streaming. But
I hope I like the Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. I hope I like it. You hate it when I call it that. You fucking hate it when I call it that, don't you?
I'm ending this podcast. All right, there is no Kenny Potter happening. But yeah, all that's to come. So thank you very much, and we'll see you next month. Bye.
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 He's gone. He's just fucking... He's just dropped. He's just left. He's just left the fucking Discord call. Oh, he's back. He's back. Oh, that's funny.
That's how you end a podcast.
PlayStation